Good morning. It's Saturday, April 28th, 2023, and it's the Wall Street Weekly Wrap Up with your host, John Newquist. And it was a week of earnings. So several of our stocks in our portfolios had earnings. So we're going to cover those. And that's the key ones, what we need to deal with. Nextera beat by 11 cents. Reaffirmed the guidelines. EPS for 2024 are going to be in line. Went down a little bit, but this is a utility and it's going to go up. The earnings are positive. The growth was about 7%, and that is nice. I mean, we want a utility that does grow versus just say, well, we got the same revenues every year. So Nextera has been one of our oldest holdings in well over a dozen plus years, and so we like it. It pays a good dividend. It's at a double bottom, so we should be pretty good. PepsiCo, new 52-week high. Results were good. Revenues rose 10%. That's actually incredible with the inflation and people cutting back and going down to the other stuff. But the products are good, and people don't mind paying for the extra, quarter for chips or soda pop. So earnings are great. Pays a dividend. It's a great consumer, staples. And the stats of the week, the 2-year rate went down a little bit. It's jumping around with the issues now. First Republic failed, and is going to be taken by the FDIC in the receivership, which means, I watched this thing. I was thinking maybe we'll buy it at $5. Got down to like $1.50 on Friday at the close, and then they announced FDIC. It might be zero on Monday. It might be bought by another bank, and you get nothing. So. I'm not laughing because it's bad, but I'm just thinking, wow, I was lucky. Because, it was tempting, because I was thinking, well, will they let it go down? This is like 2008. Are they going to let Lehman go bankrupt? Yes. Are they going to let Bear Stearns go bankrupt? Well, they're going to get it bought by, J.P. Morgan. And this is, the issues you come up with. And, I watched Bear go down from $60 to $2 and nothing, so you couldn't get out of it. You're at $2 and you're done. Crude oil still in the 70s. I'm just amazed. They did a cutback with Russia and Saudi Arabia, and it's still below 80. They want it. I think it's a time to fill the strategic petroleum reserve, but they're telling me they don't have the money because of the debt ceiling. So I thought, well, that's interesting. They can't fill up the reserve because we got no more money. Natural gas is in the 2s, which is good. I don't think natural gas will ever get back to 5s like it was earlier last year. I mean, it'd be a while, but everybody's telling me we got a lot of natural gas. And gold broke a little bit below 2,000. It was up there above it. But, this is a cycle of nature. If we look at the energy XLE exchange traded fund, it's been going sideways. I mean, a little up and down. And is it going up? Well, right now one of the trends is up, one of the trends is down. So, everybody's kind of watching it. I think China coming online will be a very good thing for the oil market and energy. Again, we're underweight energy right now. We have ExxonMobil, and we'll talk about that one a little bit later. The heat map, we look at it, the NASDAQ, remember we were up at 18% one time on the NASDAQ. S&P, we're up at about 10%, and we're doing 7% for the first quarter, and then we were at 10%, so we're about 3% better than the average. But it's going good. I mean, you look at the big bright ones, the bright greens that jump out, Meta and Microsoft, that's our core portfolio. We also had Google in there. Well, we didn't have Tesla. Tesla is going down every week. We sold it at $150, $152 or something. I mean, it's just incredible to rocket down. I mean, people are saying Elon's too focused on Twitter, and I always remember when he said, "Well, I used to work 80 hours a week. When I bought Twitter, it's 120." You're not going to be functional. You're not a good leader when you're trying to do that. You get too many pots boiling, and you can't keep track of it. Microsoft. All-time high. Isn't that amazing? We look at it. We've had Microsoft forever. Cloud taking share from Amazon. Everything. They said AI 50 plus times. I mean, they got the big sponsor for OpenAI, which was valued at $25 billion. It's not even a public company. They're failing it. Sold more stuff in there. People like this because it's good. I use it all the time. I pay the money. Revenues went up. Earnings went up. Everything's hitting on all cylinders. Only thing that didn't work is England said you can't buy the Blizzard Activision trade, so it's not going to kill Microsoft. But I would have liked to seen it because I would think Microsoft would have made the game better. But Just me. Google, I could show the chart. Google's been struggling. It's considered to have search, even though they're 90+% on search. YouTube went down in ad revenue for 2%, and I says, well, a lot of ad revenue's gone down. I mean, there's not like a lot of people doing real great in ad revenue. You still got 90% of the people using search. They were scared when Samsung talked about maybe switching to Bing, because that's the Korean market. But a lot of numbers, it kind of stalled. I mean, they made some money. Revenues did go up year to year about 3%, so it is increasing. You look at where the money is, the ad revenue. Look at that chart right. I mean, look at this big chunk. This is the ad revenue. This is where the money is at. And YouTube brings in some money, and other things. Google Play and Google Cloud. I have Google Cloud because I like it, because it's storage is paid $99. No, it went up to $100. I think it's $107 this year, but you can store everything in there. I'm not a fan of putting anything on the hard drive. Okay, Schiller Index. Now we're going to get away from stocks. I just look at the home price index, the year to change. This is what to take a look. What are the prices selling for versus a year ago? And it's down. Remember, we got down in 2008 where prices were up 14%, and then it went down. Housing values on average lost 12. Well, much more than 12. I mean, I saw 25, 40. Florida, 90% drops in home values, but nationwide it went down. But this is pretty low. I mean, you're not talking very much areas. I mean, we go down to 2000. I mean, 1989 after the crash. But prices are coming down. It's still high. Still high. Rents only up about maybe 2% from a year ago. So that's a good sign. Meta, look at this, coming back, bust above the trend. Oh my God, that's great. And that's revenues are up. Everything cost cutting is up. People are saying, well, they made more revenue than a year ago, and I understand that. But he also cut a lot of costs too, and so a lot of people think they're lean and mean. And I just say, listen, they made $5 billion. There's only a handful of companies that make $5 billion. $5 billion, that's a lot of money. Exxon made $11 billion in the quarter, but Meta, we're going to hold this for a while because this is a company that makes money. You can't pass that up. It makes a lot of money. So, when you had the chance to buy it down in the hundreds like we did, we grabbed it. I mean, I've owned Meta back and forth. I remember the IPO coming out at 30 something and got down to 19. So I've been through it all with the Meta. And ExxonMobil, it's our energy stock. We could have watched Chevron, but I don't see much difference with Chevron, ConocoPhillips. All you're doing, you might just buy more ExxonMobil, but it beat all-time high. All-time high. Earnings per share up. Revenues up, production up, everything. When you make $11 billion a quarter, they're going to get people screaming that you're taking the money. Tech companies, they make $5 billion, they don't even bother. But oil company makes 11, they're going to beat them up. Snap. Now we got a couple dogs, and it's not because it's an area, it's a modest position, but Snap, was way up there before, and what I look at Snap is they made profits. They're a tech company. I like their AI. I can actually type on that AI and say, what is the date of Lincoln's death, and it'll tell me. Do you want me to look it up? Yes, and it gives it to me. That actually cuts out a lot of stuff, and it's easy to use right on your phone, and you got like a mini chat GPT on that thing, and I think that's a good thing because it actually works. I mean, I use it and I like it, and I thought, well, this is not so bad. I mean, they always talk about we're going to do this. I'm not so happy with the Bing AI. It's always giving me the links. I got to look it up. I just want answers to simple questions, and it's nice. Revenues went down a little bit, so we got some negatives, but I'm looking at the future. I think they will increase revenue. I think they're going to do better. Montana's talking about banning TikTok. Snap would be a beneficiary, but I think this is a thing that under the right circumstances and management changes, they could do well. And like I said, we are overweight communication services and information technology because we've been doing great. Underweight real estate, financial, and energy. Added more SIRI. SIRI, again, earnings. They make money. The revenues fell. People hate that. People want to see the revenues grow. I just look at it when it's at $3.80, and they're making profit in tech. you know, it's not so bad. Siri has a lot of programming. They spend a lot of money on the programming, and somebody's going to pop up the AI and say, listen, this programming costs us 10x, we get 1x listener. This one costs us 4x, and we get 25x listeners. They're going to do that math, and they're going to start saying, maybe we'll cut a couple of these, what they call unprofitable programs that we pay a lot of money for. And that's why I see Siri. I mean, I could see it, you know, go from $3 to $10. I mean, I'm talking like a triple is what I look at if they change some things. The thing is, they make money. Snap makes money. We have to put up with this nonsense of, you know, these flat earnings, a little bit of loss earnings until they right the ship, because I see the future. I mean, I use Siri all the time, every day. I pay $270 a year for this thing. I use it all the time, so I like it. I don't mind paying for something that I use every day. So I look at it, this is going to be a chance to do it. Thank you for putting up a little longer today, but let's have a good weekend. I hope spring is coming here. Somebody said, no more spring for you. So we'll talk to you next week. Have a good weekend. Bye.